Hi, it's Maxine. Welcome to Weekly Wellness. I want to talk today about something called epigenetics, which is a branch of science that is largely ignored by mainstream scientists. It's something that an American cell biologist called Dr. Bruce Lipton was one of the creators of the terminology epigenetics. And I think it offers a really interesting insight into the control that we have over our health. So traditionally we're taught that a lot of our health outcomes relate to our genetics. So if you had a mum or a grandma or your father or an uncle had a specific health condition, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, then the chances are that you're going to inherit those genes and that you're likely to develop those health conditions. And what the science of epigenetics says is actually it's not the genes that actually control the outcome of your health. It's actually at a higher level, which is the epi. The epi means higher. Epigenetics, it's higher than that. And Bruce Lipton's work shows that it's actually the cell membrane. So our bodies, which are amazing machines, are made up of trillions of tiny little cells that are almost like little living beings themselves. And they each have a nucleus which contains your genes, but they also have a membrane that controls and balances what nutrients go in and out of the cell. The nutrients go in and the waste products leave the cell. And Bruce Lipton's work showed that it's actually the cell membrane that controls what happens to the cell, as opposed to the genes. And when you create an environment that is healthy and balanced, that the cell membrane works to create a healthy environment for that individual cell. So if you've got your trillions of cells throughout your body working harmoniously, working not too hard, so you're not pumping in lots of toxins into your body that your cells are working really hard to get rid of, rather than doing the job that they're meant to do, that actually your cells are working more harmoniously. And that environment that you're creating for those cells, in turn, is what determines whether the genes in your body are activated or not. And so if they are activated, that might then lead to X, Y, and Z health condition. But it's not the gene that determines whether that health condition is going to develop. It's the environment that your body is in and that all of those cells are in that determines whether the gene will be activated or not. And there's examples of identical twins where they've got the same genes, and one of the identical twins goes on to develop a specific health condition that doctors may generally say is genetic, and the other twin doesn't go on to develop those. And so if it was purely down to your genetic pool, both of those twins would develop the same health condition. And there's many examples where that is not the case. And it's down primarily to the environment in which that person's body is in, both physically and emotionally and mentally. And what fascinates me about this is it gives us so much more control. So if I go to the doctors and the doctor says, tell me about your family history, and I tell that my dad and my grandma and other members of their family had heart problems, and the doctor says, there's a high chance you're going to have heart problems, I say, no, I don't accept that, because I create the environment for my body. And yes, there may be a chance of that happening, but I'm going to create a different environment that is more healthy, both physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And I truly believe that that will then create a healthier environment for my body, and those genes will not be activated, and I won't go on to develop those health conditions. So don't always believe what we're told by the medical environment, because I guess, that's just the way that they've been taught. But there are other ways of looking at this, and there are, scientific examples of how this epigenetics does pan out. And like I say, it gives us so much more control over our health and well-being. So we're not a victim of our genes. We can actually take control. And I'll talk in another video about the ways in which you can take control over the environment that your body is in to create maximum health and well-being. So something to ponder. If you're interested, it's Dr. Bruce Lipton, and the subject is epigenetics. So check that out, and I'll see you next time.